Okay guys, so this is the second video on the digital BoxNet tutorials. Um, you can see that from the end of the last video all I've done to this is to add in the extra flaps that will be needed to stick the box together. And so once you've got those done and you're happy with those, then you can move on to this next section. Right, okay, so just going down to the layers panel down here, we've got a trim layer with everything on. If I click into the menu system there and click on duplicate trim, that's the little menu there, and I have trim and trim copy. I'm going to click there to put the lock on the original trim layer and double click on trim copy and rename that colors and press enter. So now I've got two layers, the original trim layer with all their shapes on and a copy of it that we've renamed colors that also has the shapes on, but we're going to work on that one, put some colour on there, but that means that our original trim layer, our original shapes, nothing will happen to those just in case we make any accidental amendments on the layer we're working on. Right, okay, so using the selection tool, if I was to click into one of these shapes, what you'll see over here, these two things in the colour panel, this white one is the fill colour and this one is the stroke colour. The stroke is just the outline colour. So we've got a black outline and a white fill. So if you want to change the colour of one panel, you can, making sure that that one's selected. If you click on that, that will come to the front, and now that is selected. If you click on that one, so the fill is in front, and then you click into a colour, the fill colour will change. Okay. If you want to do multiple panels with the same colour, click and drag and then put your colour in and they will all change to that colour. If I click off there, you'll see that the outline remains black in each case. Okay, so that's how you can get some simple colour in there. Now let's say for example that we want to use this colour to get the rest of them in there. You can just use the eyedropper tool over here to click on that, pick that colour up, and it will fill all those panels in with the same colour. Okay, so that's how you can get some simple colour in there. You may have a box design where all the panels are the same colour, you may not. That's just to get a base colour down. Right, what you might want to do next is to break some of these panels up with different coloured shapes or whatever. If that's the case, you can create a new layer down here and we'll call this shapes, and then within that, remember if you click and hold on there you'll get different shapes to use. So I'm going to try a rounded rectangle and put it on my main panel. That's about right. If I click off that, we can see that we've got an outline now, and then I might want to change the colour of that to be something more like that. Okay, so you can use that tool to build up those shapes on your BoxNet. So we've got a trim layer, a colours layer, and a shapes layer. I'm going to add one more layer and call this one text. And then on this layer, using the text tool, the type tool rather, you can click and start adding some text. If you just click rather than click and drag, it gives you this nonsense text, the lorem ipsum, but you can rename that. So let's say your box is for perfume. You might have a name for it already. Click on the selection tool and holding shift and click and drag, we can size that up, and we can change the typeface by going up here, and each of these you'll see what they look like as you start going through them. If you find that happens, you can always lock your layers so that you can only click on and move the text. Okay, so those are the basic tools that you're going to need to start piecing this thing together. You will also hopefully have some illustrations that you can bring in, but like I said, we'll cover that in the next session.